Hi, welcome to my journey. Okay, did my little 10-minute workout. I feel strong, right? And it's a beautiful day out here. It's 55 degrees. Ooh, I still have a taste of my protein shake. This time, I didn't go under 70 pounds in none of the machines that I worked out in. So, I feel strong. I came walking out of there like, yeah, I did. Felt good too. It felt really good, right? So there has to be like a nice balance. So there's got to be a nice balance that your muscles, propel you and not weigh you down, right? Because sometimes our muscles, they will weigh us down. You who don't have no muscles don't know that. That your muscles will weigh you down. Okay? Because muscles are very heavy. They're very heavy. They're very heavy. So now I just got to get my 10-minute walk on. I could have did it on one of the machines there, even though I did do the aerobics, where every minute I increase the strength. That could be enough if I wanted to, just in case I don't get out here and walk, okay? Because, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that I will want to get out and walk, okay? So dang, these skies are so clear blue. It's so beautiful, right? And I can't help but to remind myself that this is one of the reasons why, even though on one side of my neck I'm talking about, I want to get out of here, right? Then all I need to do is see these clear blue skies, and it's like, I would really miss these skies. For real, the animal service is out today. Yeah. And speaking of animals, my animals have calmed the hell down. They are calm. They're not fighting and jousting with each other or nothing, right? When they was around me, they was all so happy, But now that they're not around me, they're like, happiness means a whole new level of things. A whole nother level of things. So, I guess they're trying to reestablish what means happiness to them. And so am I. Right? I put their pillows, their pet beds, I left the cage up because wherever Gracie was at in her younger years, she would go inside of the cage, to do her thing. Mostly to urinate inside of the cage. I noticed that because even when she's outside, she looks for something that kind of resembles a cage, right? So she was kind of halfway being trained that if she had to urinate, to go inside of the cage. I believe that. There's no way that she had this pattern developed. It could be, God only knows. How is it that cats, seem like they naturally cater to the sandbox? All right? So, oh yeah, see, now I'm starting to sweat. I'm telling you, it takes a good 5 to 10 minutes before after the workout, when I start to sweat. See, this dude, and he's too grown to be disobeying the lights. This is a fucking senior citizen riding around with a baseball cap, thinking that just because he's a lightweight, that makes him a young man. It isn't. It isn't so. It is not so. But yes, his shadow self is very youth-like. And he should know that. Your shadow self, sir, is very youth-like. Immature as F. Right? And I don't know how you can walk around here in your shadow self that's immature as F, trying to look like a youth and act like a youth and want people to respect you as a grown-ass man. Drop it down in the description on how that works out. I guess that's why they say men, they be having these double lives, triple lives, right? Because over here, they acting like a young man. Over here, they acting like, a mature man. Over here, they acting like, a despicable, heathenous, tyrannical beast of a man. So they got all of this that they have to deal with. And control those behaviors or characters, lest it controls them. Yep, lest it controls them. And the majority of them, they're not even that aware. They're not even that aware to be able to control them. They think they're natural and normal, that this is just the way they are. And it's like the only way that they're going to know any different is upon death. They start being shown, see, you had this demon in you, you had this spirit in you, you had this demon in you, you had this spirit in you, you had this demon in you, you had this spirit, right? And it's going to count how many fucking demons they had in them. And this is where, they're going to be standing there with their mouth open talking about, I thought those were just thoughts. As a man thinketh. Anyway, on to another subject, right? The salmon patties that I bought yesterday really sucked. From Kroger, they sucked. No wonder they couldn't get rid of them for $3.50 for 4 patties. They couldn't get rid of them. I'm going to have to doctor those up with some salmon, right? I'm going to have to doctor them up and reconstruct a better salmon patty to eat. Then I'm going to use the Chick-fil-A eggs that I got from the pantry, along with the bean sprouts that I got. I already cooked the rice so that I can make some fried rice. Okay? So I'm going to have fried rice and salmon patties today at some point. Right? And I'm going to be honest. This eating one meal a day is not working for me. It's not. The reason why it's not working for me is because I will snack in the worst way. In the worst way. Okay? So, I ate up all of the puffy chocolate chip protein bars like they were a snack. Yes. And they were very good tasting snack. Yes. Yes, they were good. Hot, they was good cold. Right? Because that marshmallow, when it was hot, it tastes like marshmallows. When it's cold, it tastes like nougat. Okay. And since I had time on my hands and I had pizza dough and I had some Granny Smith apples, and I'm like, let me caramelize these Granny Smith apples and turn them into a apple pizza. And I did. And it was good. It was so sweet. It was better than apple pie. I promise you it was better than apple pie. It had so many different textures, right? Like apple pie, you got 2, maybe 3 textures, depending on how they made it, right? If they put the crumb on top, where they had the flour and the sugar on top, and it crystallized, it gave it a little crunch, right? Some people, like my mom, right, she might add some raisins in the apple pie. Oh my God. I was just like, what is this? Apple pie with raisins in them? Woo! If I had some raisins, I would have put some raisins in my pie mixture. Okay, but I didn't have no raisins. And believe me, it crossed my mind to put these cranberries that I had, the dried out cranberries, the dehydrated cranberries. I was tempted, but I was like, nah, Cherie, this is an experimentation that you may not even like, putting cranberries into apple pie. Don't do it. So I didn't do it. But the apple pie pizza has so many different textures, right? It had the crunchiness of the pizza dough crust. It had this sweet caramelized apple filling, right? It was so beautiful. Then on top of that, I didn't use just plain oats. I used chocolate oats on top. But the chocolate oats, it just had a hint of chocolate, okay? It didn't it tastes like you biting into chocolate. It just had a hint of chocolate on top of the oats. Ooh, it was so good. Oh my God, it was good. And then I topped it off with some sugar frosting. It was so good. It was so good. I ate quite a bit of it last night. Woke up again in a sugar coma. I'm telling you, this food challenge is not good for me. It's not, right? And I know, I kept telling myself, okay, yes, you've been overeating. Yes, it's been good. Yes, you were able to do it on a dime, real cheap, right? Including the food that you got from the pantry haul. But listen, you better take your ass to the gym and go work out. Woo! You better take your ass to the gym and go work out. For real. Because at my age and being hypothyroid, ain't no way I should be thinking that it's okay for me to try to eat 3,000 calories in a day. Not even 2,000 calories in a day. Right? 1,500 calories is like normal for the day, not to gain any weight. Imagine that. Okay? So if you want to lose weight and you hypothyroid, it don't matter that you already big, right? Because your metabolism is all jacked up, fucked up, messed up, okay? So you're going to have to eat like 1,000 calories in order to have any kind of, weight loss. But you got to be careful with that, right? Because your body can set the metabolism at 1,000, right? So this is how, these gurus out here, these so-called gurus who are like, I haven't eaten in 7 years, right? I don't know if that's the case, but I do know that wherever you're at as far as eating the calories, that you could intentionally set your calorie intake. Usually out of habit, usually out of training, usually, well, sometimes because you have to, right? And of course, going to the restroom is painful, like sweating, and yeah, it's just no bueno. It's no bueno. So it doesn't look like we're going to get too much, that we're going to get above 60 degrees today, because now it's at 57. It's 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock, and I'm riding around. So that charge that I bought yesterday, I believe it cost me like $5 for that charge. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. So we're going to stay within the range that doesn't require me to purchase a charge. Although it did feel good. It did feel good to expand my range. It felt good yesterday to expand my range. And I blame it on Sagittarius. And that's so weird. I wasn't the only one affected that way, right? This one lady, I guess she lives up here somewhere not too far from Dallas area. She's probably closer to the Dallas area than she is to any other major city. But she filmed that she rode 2.5 hours to Houston just to go buy her some cake and ice cream. She thought it was a premenstrual thing. Okay, could have been. But like I said, Sagittarius season, we're going to want to shoot long distance travel to go someplace and do something. Right? It's when you become aware that you'll start to realize, oh yeah, right? Then you'll start to connect the dots, right? People will travel long distance on Thanksgiving, which is why they give you like a 2-day holiday, a 4-day weekend, just so that you can travel long distance. You understand? You understand? When you start connecting the dots, once your eyes are open, you can't unsee what you saw. All right? Now, let's not get it twisted. Having your eyes open is not the same meaning as what these junk in the brain people are talking about. Oh, well, see, that's just you being woke. No, your eyes are open. It's not the same as you being woke. You can be woke and still be asleep. Still can't see. Oh my God. What is that? What was that dude on? That dude must have been on something. Who knows what kind of drug that dude was on? But he zigzagged in and out of traffic just so he can turn around and make a left-hand turn into a residential neighborhood. Unbelievable. It had to be a man. It had to be a man. So, now, you know, I've been talking about I have this craving to eat some beef. Like I said, last time I had beef, it was beef liver, and that was a long time ago. Okay? It was a long time ago. Right? And I've been craving beef. Now, I went into Kroger's. I filmed it and everything, but I took it down. I took it down because I ended up going to the mall, and then I got a hit, right, from YouTube telling me that there's music on my video. So I took it down. All right? So because I went to the mall, I was trying to check out to see what the fashions are, right? Found out, you know, like I said, you know, the sweatsuits where, you know, we had the stripes coming down the sides, you know, that's considered old-fashioned. It don't matter if it's one stripe, two stripes, different colors, zippers. It don't matter to them. The young people has dismissed it as obsolete and as old folks, old school style, right? Now, I was looking at some of the new style of sweatsuits out there, right? They still want women's style to be very shape revealing. The thread count is very skimpy, right? And I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they do that. Because to me, you know, men seem like they got all of that muscle. You know, they should be able to, you know, to wear skimpy material a lot easier because, you know, they have, you know, a large muscle mass, right? Whereas the women, they need the more thread count because, you know, they don't, and a lot of them have to hide that cellulite. Sometimes the material that women have to put on their bodies, you can actually see the cellulite through their clothes. I don't know, maybe they do it on purpose so they can see. Does she have cellulite? I don't know, but right, this sweatshirt that I have on, for a woman, we would consider this heavy, right? But for a man, it would be considered kind of pretty close to lightweight, right? It would be pretty close to lightweight. Cheap. Right? It came to me that lightweight is considered cheap to men. And I thought about it and I'm like, absolutely lightweight is cheap. low maintenance, takes up less space in the house, eat less food. Okay, so that's another thing that women have to combat. Even if they do find a man that's willing to take care of them, right, or her, you know, he's sitting up there trying to figure out how can he make her a lightweight so that she will be cheap, right? Kind of like our thinking when we want to buy a pet, right? When we want to buy a pet, we're not going to buy a pit bull or a Concorso, a German Shepherd. Why? Because we know not only are they active, but they eat a lot. They take up a lot of space. We can't just give them a pretty cute little pillow and tell them, here's your bed. No, we got to damn near buy them a bed the size of a baby crib, because they so big. Right? My dogs, they're laying on the pillow of a love seat. Okay? And they're only 65, she's only 65 pounds, and the puppy was maybe 25 pounds. Now, two things are going to happen, right? Where Gracie is probably going to need her own space, right? She was excited when it came time for brunch, okay? When it came time for brunch, she was excited. I don't know if she ate Snoopy's portion. I don't know. She could have. She could have eaten Snoopy's portion. Because, man, she'll gobble it down real quick. Gobble, 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 gobble. Like a turkey. And not care if Snoopy gets any. Snoopy may not get any. But I already know that depending on how much food that the dogs eat will determine how big they are or how heavy they become, right? And it will say so on the package. Well, if you want your dog to be, 65 pounds, then you give them a cup and a half a day of this food. You can break it up into portions, or you can give it to them once a day. It doesn't matter, right? And that's how it is with the pets. So, I had been giving Snoopy like 2 cups and 2.5 cups, right? When she was younger, right? So she was like muscular, she had the muscles all in her face and all on her neck and her chest and everything, when she was younger, right? No doubt. There was no doubt in your mind that you knew she was a pit bull. Because that's how we identify the pit bulls, is their muscular structure, especially in the face, right? And the shorter the snout is, depends on whether or not there'll be and the legs, the shorter the legs and the snout will determine whether or not the dog is a bully descendant or not, okay? I don't really particularly like the bully descendant, right? Even though one of my high schools, we were the Bulldogs. Yes, we were the Bulldogs. Shout out to Garfield High in Washington State. Yup. That was the Central City High School in Seattle. Yeah. It was off the chain. Yes, it was. It was off the chain. It could be. Just depends on what you was into. And yesterday I ended up watching this video of Oprah asking the young people, you know, what is the purpose of estranging your family? I didn't really watch the whole thing, right? Because, you know, I don't care. I really don't, right? And the reason why I stopped caring is because right now they think they have it under control, right? But then there's going to come a point when their kids are going to look at them like, you was abusive as fuck. You didn't let us see our grandparents. You alienated the family from other family members for whatever weird ass principle you thought you was dictating upon the bloodline, right? And so I got off. I'm like, yeah, I know that's what's going to happen. And then when that happens and these people have no support, right? They don't have no support. What ends up happening is when they get into trouble and they don't have no family support, it becomes too hard, right? Then that's when they abandon the woman and the kids and whoever else and move someplace looking for the kindness of strangers. Okay? They like to go someplace where they were not associated with the past, with their bloodline, with the family, you know, and hope that, you know, they can get a new start. And what they'll do is they'll keep moving around until they can find that new start and settle in. Okay? That's what people do. Right? Now, that's very pigeonholed vision. Okay? It is. It's very pigeonholed vision because the people, the family that they left behind, they're suffering. Right? They're suffering in absence, a vacancy, an empty chair, right? Not sure if they're supposed to remove the chair and forget about this person or leave the chair there in case they decide to come back. Right? And because men knew that, right, for a lot of women would hold that chair, their space at the table, they knew that the woman would allow them to come back and take that same place that they had, you know, at the table. Well, at least some women. Me, I'm like, you're not sitting at the grown folks table. You too immature. You got to sit over there with the kids. And they won't accept that. So my thinking is, hey, let's not even go through it, right? Don't knock on the door thinking that, you know, you're going to be entitled to a position that you held, that you quit. You quit that position, right? You quit the job, and now you're like, I want my job back. No, you don't get your job back. Maybe if you got that kind of integrity, you could get your job back. You got to start from the bottom and work your way back up. But see, these men, they don't want to work their way back up. They're like, I ain't got to fucking work my way back up, right? I got experience. I got talent. I got muscles. And I got a whole lot of anger if you don't let me have my way. Yeah. And as soon as they start bringing up that anger shit, first thing we be thinking, we got to make sure to keep the suicide hotline, which is 988, and the police, which is 911, on speed dial with these dumbass motherfuckers. Pea-brain motherfuckers. Okay. Now, mature women, we don't want to play that game. We're like, nope. Because we went through the times where we thought we would have enough time to dial, even on speed dial, help, right? Only to have our phones taken from us and smashed, broken, right? And when the police showed up, they told the police that we wrecked our own damn phone. We're crazy. And weird enough is the police wanted to believe that lie because they knew the outcome of taking this man to jail for the destruction of property and assault can turn out bad, right? It can turn out bad. Why? Because you're not just going to jail, right? But jail is filled with a lot of criminals, right? These criminals, if they even sense that you gonna get out before they get out, they're trying to influence you to do some things for them. And yes, interesting enough, if you get caught up by these weird ass men, right? When you get out, they're going to put you on their visitors list because they know you're going to come back with what they told you to bring them. Okay? Right? So if I was a warden, I would be sitting up there scrutinizing everybody, right? Who is a resident, a tenant, an occupant, and ended up on a visitors list. Yeah. Right? Because a lot of times, some of these people, they owe these favors because, kind of like what my brother said, they could get hurt in there. Right? But barbaric men won't do the math. They can't do the math. The math doesn't make sense to them. Don't break the law. Don't beat up on somebody just because you know you can win. Because it still can mean that you end up in jail or prison. Okay? Instead, they're out here telling the women Don't tell on us. Don't call the police. Don't. And you know, some women, they feel sorry for them. They're like, yeah, you know, I thought I was going to lose my eye. You know, I had a black eye for 3 weeks. But thank God, you know, I can still see out of that eye, and I'm healing very well. So I guess, you know, you didn't realize what you were doing. So, you know, hopefully you'll realize that what you had done was wrong. Because here you are asking for forgiveness. Right? Because if you don't realize what you were doing was wrong, you're going to end up doing it again. And next time, it could end up a lot worse. The outcome could be horrible. The outcome could be so horrible that it could be one of those situations where, you know, you don't inform the police that you're going into your pocket to get your ID or your vape, and they shoot you dead. Right? And of course, there'll be people out there saying, it's an outrage. It's an outrage. That man was just going for his vape. He didn't have a weapon. But justice is blind, and karma is a bitch. Yes? It says, thank you for the love of the lake and our generous donors for the new electronic marquee. Oh, one of the features that I noticed that you can have on YouTube now, you know how we would sit up there and spend hours watching these videos, right? Well, now they have a feature where they've incorporated AI, and you can get the video summarized. And I'm like, thank you, AI. I love you. Me and AI, we got a thing going on. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I love AI. We have a relationship, I say. We have a relationship, right? So I can go and ask AI to please summarize this video, right? And that's especially when you know that these people never get to the point. Never, ever get to the point. And the facts are far and few between. You got to sit up here and watch the shit show, right? And AI is there to say, no, you don't. I'll summarize the video for you, and just give me a minute, and I'll do it. And it's like Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie. Bing. Now all of a sudden, you have a whole description that summarizes the video, the many different points, the approaches that they took, and any cross references that you might seek. You know, they'll put it up there for you to actually go dive deeper. Thank you. I love you so much. I love you. I think I love you. Remember that song? Who was that? Was that the Bee Gees? I think I love you. I think I love you. Wow, that was a long time ago. That was at least 50 years ago. Yeah. So, I know I stopped from saying what was on my mind, right? And what was on my mind, right, was I was dreaming. dreaming. Yeah, I was dreaming about beef yesterday. Okay? Dreaming about beef. Went to Kroger's, seen that Kroger's had beef under $10 a pound, and it wasn't hamburger. Well, they had some that was like that. But they had ribeye roast under $8 a pound. They had shaved steak meat under $8 a pound. And I kept recording it. And I kept saying, you know, this is a fantastic deal, right? But it's a sad situation when you can get a fantastic deal and don't even have the money to buy the fantastic deal. Right? And that's usually what happens in our society, right? Where, you know, maybe the economy was like, yeah, you could get away with selling a watermelon for $10, right? But if you don't hit that right window of opportunity and these people end up spending their disposable money somewhere else, even if you were to drop the watermelon down to $3, they won't have the money to buy it, right? And that's why they'll get mad when they're like, well, I got $1.50. You know, do you want to sell your watermelon for $1.50? And they're like, no, I'd rather smash it than sell it for $1.50. Do you know how much of a loss I just incurred trying to sell you a watermelon that's worth $10 for $1.50? And people are like, what you getting mad at me for? Okay? So that's what I felt when I went into Kroger's, and I'm like, they had ribeye and T-bone steak on sale for under $8 a pound. Right? But you had the minimum that you could buy was a pound. No, it wasn't a pound. The minimum that you could buy was 2 pounds. Right? Or was it 3? I'm thinking the minimum that you could buy was something like $15, $20. So it had to be like 2 to 3 pounds. Because even at $8 a pound, 3 pounds is what? Right? So I couldn't get the beef off my mind. I could not. I'm like, oh my gosh, if you don't get you some of this beef, you're going to be angry. Angry. Right? I didn't want no turkey. Even if they gave me the turkey at 89 cents a pound, I didn't want it. $1.89, I didn't want it. Ham at 99 cents a pound, I didn't want it. I wanted some beef. And Lord knows, I didn't want brisket. Brisket is a little too chewy for me. It really is. You know, you can spend a lot of time trying to tenderize some brisket. But it's still a good piece of meat. It is. It's a good piece of meat. Didn't want to do brisket. And I went through all of this to say that at between 4 and 5, Kroger should be delivering me some prime rib roast meat and some shaved steak. And I also bought me like a little salad because they were on sale for like $2.29. Right, and their delivery fee was 98 cents. And I'm like, okay, deliver it to my house, please, because I'm gonna have me a prime rib steak for my Thanksgiving dinner, because I ain't no turkey.